Excuse me, I need to sneeze. Okay. So my thought for today is that we would start by building out the HTML for our little game. And Nina, in a previous webcast, I'll share my screen here. In a previous webcast, Nina started building out this sort of PowerPoint presentation with just some drawings, basically, of what the game might look like. So once we're integrating this with Ruby, will really be a view in Rails. So it's a model view controller framework, right? We have the controllers, which have those different methods that route requests to particular views. We have models that contain the data that interact with the database, and then the view is sort of this HTML code. And when we go to actually write the HTML code, we can have we can have like Ruby. Part of it can be generated with Ruby code. If you recall, we have those little, in the views, we'll have those special tags that are sort of an angle bracket and a %sign, and then we can put Ruby code in there to generate this stuff. But before we get to that point, I think we can just start writing HTML. And so then later on, we can take our, we can just write static HTML, I think, as opposed to dynamically generated. So instead of, eventually we might go to the database in order to get these different categories like famous scientists and musicians. But I think for right now, we'll just write static HTML and get it to look the way we want it to look. And then later on, we can sort of convert that static HTML into dynamically generated Ruby, Rails, I should say, Rails views, so that for example, would actually have data that comes from from the database. So I think for today, and looks like we have a couple more people who joined. I guess Daniel was there and just actually got logged in. Maybe we could have one of you guys share your screen. Or how about this? Why don't we take a few minutes? Because you guys are experienced at writing HTML, right? Because you guys have done your personal web pages. You've done various projects before. So what if we just took the next 5 or 10 minutes and just let you guys start writing HTML. Maybe we can divide and conquer. Each of you guys can do one of these, sort of build out one of these sort of pages in HTML. Does that make sense?
I love that idea, Jacob. Post the picture and have everyone write this in HTML.
Yep.
That's great.
And I would say to start with, let's not worry about the style. Let's just get the HTML written. So don't worry too much about, don't worry at all about the font yet, or spacing or padding or alignment or any of that kind of thing. Let's just write HTML, and then we can go through after we have that HTML written, and we'll do the style, the layout, and so forth.
Great.
So,
May I make? That
yeah.
sounds great, Jacob. May I make a couple of suggestions? First of all, hi, Claudia. Hi, Daniel. Welcome. So I just wanted to say, if you are not clear how to do a particular HTML, one possibility is to find a page that's like it and copy and paste the source code. I don't know if that makes sense, Jacob, rather than writing from scratch, but if you can write from scratch, great, but it's also possible to just copy and paste a similar layout. Does that make sense, Jacob?
If you need to, you could, sure, if you need to, you can certainly try and find something similar, although hopefully this, and we'll assign, I think we have 3 people each writing HTML then, Isla and Daniel and Claudia, is that right?
Right.
So we can take 3 of these pages, and hopefully these are, so I would say let's divide and conquer. Let's have one person do this first page with the different categories. We'll have one person do this second page, which has one image in the middle, and then these 4 possible answers. And
for now, rather than doing the graphics, they could just put the text in there instead of put buttons, and then we'll replace the text with buttons later.
Right, I would say, no, yeah, don't worry about having an actual, getting an actual picture. And I think we'll wait for these kind of pop-up things. We'll wait for that for later. And then a third person can put together the scoreboard. And yeah, if you need to...
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah, go for it.
How about, Isla, if you do the first, not this page, but the next page, the one where the answer is there, that one, yep. That's fairly simple. Title slide, text, picture, and buttons. And then the other one, Claudia, how about you do the first page? Claudia, what if you take a stab at doing this? Back up to the first page, please, Jacob. Yeah. Do you think you could take a cut at this, Claudia? Hi, Claudia. I see you.
Hi.
Welcome. Good Sunday morning. Do you think you could take a cut at writing this page in HTML?
Yes. Can I get like a page? Let me take a print screen of it.
Yeah. If you want to take that would work well. I was thinking of what the best way to do that would be. I can share it through WebEx, although that's sometimes difficult to work with. So if you want to take a screenshot, that's a fantastic idea.
Great, Claudia. And then the last, great. And then Daniel, the last slide. How about if you take this one, Daniel? Great. Okay. Did you get a print screen of this, Daniel?
I'll try and share this.
Have you got it, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's go back to the first page so Isla can see we can just leave the first page up. Or excuse me, the second page, that one, right?
This one, yeah.
So that's yours, Isla. Fantastic, Jacob.
Okay.
How about
okay, so we'll give this we'll say maybe 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
if people need more time, that's fine. Or if someone's ready after 10 minutes, we can.
Yeah. We can.
Do that.
We
Okay.
used
And
to-
if you have, if anyone has questions or they're struggling with something, please speak up, and we will.
Pass you the ball and try to help.
And we can help out. Yep.
Great. Okay.
Great.
It's always nice to see the front end coming together. That's my favorite part. Oh, hi, Gabrielle. Jacob, maybe we need to update a little bit to get Gabrielle involved.
Sure. So, quick summary of what we're doing, and this is actually good timing because we're probably about ready to move on to the next sort of stage of our little webcast. Oh, we lost Isla. It's okay. What we've been doing is we are starting to build out sort of the front end of our game, the HTML, the CSS, and not quite the JavaScript just yet. We're just working on the HTML and CSS for now. Of course, eventually we will have some dynamically generated HTML using Ruby on Rails. But for now, we're just building static HTML pages. We've taken 3 of the screens from this sort of specification that we built. Oh, good, Isla's back. 3 screens from the specification that Nina sort of led the group in creating at the beginning of the project.
Hold
so
on.
We have this screen.
Excuse me, Jacob. Hold on 1 second. Gabrielle, I just want to make sure. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Great. Sorry, Jacob, for interrupting. Just wanted to make sure the connection was there.
All right, so we've had we've kind of divided, and we're doing a little divide and conquer strategy. We've got 3. I guess before you joined, we had 3 people writing HTML. Had I believe Claudia working on this front page with the different categories, and Isla working on this page. Where there's 1 picture and 4 different possible options, and then Daniel, I believe, is working on this last page, which is sort of the end of the game with the scoreboard and your score and these little buttons to play again. And so right now we're just writing HTML. It's just HTML. We've been doing that for the last 10 minutes or so. And that brings up the question, do we have from, I guess Isla's no longer, Isla must be having, she's been kind of in and out of the webcast room for a little bit, so I think she may be having difficulty, computer difficulty. Claudia or Daniel, would either of you be willing to share your screen and show us what you have so far? Even if you're not totally done, that's fine.
Okay, Daniel, I'm going to pass the ball to you, Daniel.
Okay, we've got Daniel.
Yep, turn your microphone on, turn mine off so that. Daniel, I'm going to turn my speaker and off. That'll get rid of the echo.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Okay, great. Feedback loop has been closed, so we're all set to go.
Hi.
Great.
We can't hear you yet, Daniel.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay, very good. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Was okay, great. Okay, so this is what I have now. Is kind of like a model of this.
Okay, very good.
It's pretty simple. I just used tables for this. So actually, you can see here. what I'm doing is that I'm taking a table and I'm making TRs and TDs, and I'm just aligning them to the center. So that's why it looks like some kind of like this.
Okay.
So,
Jacob, may I ask? I understand it's really difficult. It's more difficult to apply CSS to tables than it is to divs.
A little bit.
Do we need to go through setting this up as divs instead of a table, or what's your recommendation?
We can talk about that. And for a project of this size, it probably wouldn't make a huge difference. One of the things that, and this is by the way, this is exactly the reason why we're doing this. We're going through this this exercise in this way, is so that we can bring up topics like this. So this is fine. It's sort of it's considered a best practice to use tables only for tabular data. Meaning, if you look back at that specification, at that picture, I wonder if you can bring that up, Daniel.
Yep.
If you look at the little scoreboard there, where this first column, the third column is the score, and you've got those, and then you've got rows. That's what we call tabular. That's a table. Like that is a table, and so that is exactly the sort of thing that we would want to use it. You would always want to use a table for that, because that's a table. And then for the stuff before that, the title and the little scoreboard that says you scored, blah blah blah. That's not a that's not a table. I mean, you can use a HTML table to it's possible to use an HTML table to kind of style that, but it's not like it isn't a table, if you get my meaning there. So it's considered a best practice to write what we call semantic HTML, which means your HTML sort of reflects like what it is, as opposed to putting tables where it's not actually a table. And part of that is part of the benefit of doing that is, first of all, to create more readable. In fact, I think John's right. There is a little bit more flexibility with styling something if it's not a table. But maybe even more than that is that it's more readable, I think, if it's not in tables. In large, especially once again, for a project this size, it's not as big a deal.
Okay. Well, I just made it as a table because just make it really quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and that's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but just explaining what John's point about how tables, how people say, well, tables shouldn't be used for layout. That's part of the reason, is that if for anything bigger than this, like you've got tables nested inside tables, and you've got like 30 different TRs and TDs, and then it gets to be kind of a pain to figure out, well, where's the actual content, and what is this supposed to be? But you know what? That's, hey, for what we're doing now, I wouldn't be too. I think that works out fine. If we have time at some point, maybe we'll look into sort of quick ways to get center stuff without having to use tables. No, that's a good start.
Anyone else like to share their code?
I don't know if Claudia, yeah.
Um, I
Hi, Claudia.
so I haven't done much, but
That's
okay.
all right. That's all right. Maybe we can help you.
Yep.
So let's pass Claudia the
That's
ball.
fine. And actually, before we let Daniel go, before we let Daniel go, let's talk about the next step for Daniel on this page would be to so it looks like you're about to have the sort of your score, like that little box. So it looks like that's next, and then after that would be the actual table. Is that right? Okay, very good. So we have a next step there. So let's go ahead. Let's go over to Claudia, and then we'll look at what Claudia's next step will be, and then we can maybe do another 5 or 10 minutes to flesh out the next part of the HTML for both of you guys.
Okay. So this is what I've got so far.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay. This is good.
So it looks like this.
Yeah, and this is great. This is exactly what we're talking about, because we're just getting the HTML down right now, and we'll worry about the layout, getting it all laid out later. Great. So let's at your could you show your code again?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is great. So you have a div at the top with the title, and what we'll do, of course, eventually is because right now, both of you guys have this sort of title section. Eventually, we'll break that out into its own separate. Basically as its own separate thing. It'll be part of the layout in our Rails application, so we won't have to. Eventually, we won't need that on every single page. That'll just be at the top of every page. So that's great what you did there. And then for the for the individual categories here, so we've got so you've got like image and then the title and then the description.
Yeah.
Here's what so here's what we would do with each of these is that I think these should be grouped inside a containing divs. And what I mean by that is we should have a like each one of these three. I think you're getting the idea. It looks like right. Each set of image and exactly each image and title and paragraph is inside a div, and each of those containing divs.
Yeah.
Ideally would have a class, and the class would tell us sort of what that what is that div, and we would call that category, I guess, or something like that.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, okay. So we're going to use Bootstrap to align this, to organize the images. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
I've been writing HTML for quite a few years, and I'm learning a lot by just watching you, Claudia, and Jacob, and Daniel code. This is really interesting.
That's perfect. And of course, right now you're writing this, you're doing this div, these divs 4 times. Once we get Rails up and running, we'll have it dynamically generated, so there'll just be, there'll just be one time where this, all that code actually appears, and it'll loop through 4 times. But this is great. This is exactly what we're looking for. So next step, I think, for Claudia, I guess first of all, what we could do, Claudia, is just for the time being, is we could find an actual image.
Okay.
And really could, for the sake of having something there so we can kind of visualize it,
Yeah.
And then I guess we should start, doing the layout with Bootstrap. So have you used Bootstrap before, Claudia?
Yes and no. I have used it in doing a sample project, but I haven't used it extensively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, tell you what, let's, I saw we had a couple more people join, or at least one. Oh, no, I guess Andrew was here very briefly, it looked like. So I guess here's what we'll do. So next step for and again, if you run into trouble, just speak up and we can help. I think you've got a pretty good handle on this. Try adding Bootstrap. Maybe try adding an image so we can kind of visualize it, and try adding Bootstrap to do the layout. And then Daniel has the the score table and the buttons for that page to go in. And then I'll tell you what, Gabriel, since we seem to have lost Isla. I still don't have Isla. What if we? I'm gonna take the ball back here and share my screen. There we go. So what if we? Isla's. Looks like we had two. I think we had 2 different options here for how we were going to play the game. One of them was going to be multiple choice like this, and I guess another one was going to be typing the answer freeform. And I'm not sure which. Not sure which exactly we were going to do in the which we just had decided on in the long term. But tell you what, maybe since we might even have the option between the 2. So maybe would you feel all right, Gabriel, trying to write HTML for this page where we have sort of one image and then a pause and play, and this I think is just an indicator, because that's going to count down from 100% as it gradually gets clearer. Would you feel all right starting to write HTML for this?
I can try.
Okay, great. So let's do another little 10-minute session here. Is everyone clear on what the next goal is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Let's. All right, we'll get to it.
responsive site.
¿No está bien?
Sí, súper mal hecho, pero bueno.
Okay, let's check in with everyone. How is, does anyone have something they would like to share or ready to share?
Sorry, me or
Was that a yes from? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I'm Daniel. Well, I have something else.
Okay, cool.
It's all in tables, so it might be
Oh,
displayed.
that's fine. That's fine. It's all good.
I just wanted to see like the original one. Okay, so
Yep,
there it is.
there it is. There's the table, and very nice. And then we can maybe next time and add in CSS to add the cool colors and get the spacing right and everything. That's the HTML that we're looking for. Very good. Very nice. So you even got the blue on the scoreboard there. Looks like you've got that colored in and everything.
Okay.
So you've got the so that's background color light blue. Very nice. Cool.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, very nice. Could we so that we can keep these for future webcasts, and we don't have source control set up for this project yet. If you guys would be able to email, I think you all have a email address, or maybe we can email. Maybe I can email out to make sure you all have an address. But if you guys could send these files to me, and I can make sure they get put in a project folder for future webcasts.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Claudia or Gabriel, do you guys have something? If you're not totally, that's fine. Do you have anything you'd like to have a look at? Claudia or Gabriel?
I'm still figuring stuff out.
That's fine. That's cool.
I don't use my computer. I'm looking up how to integrate it without installing.
Claudia, that's fine. Perhaps over the week you can install Bootstrap and see if you can format your page.
Yep, and maybe even better, let's have a look at how to use. I've got the Bootstrap site up here. Let's look at how to use. Somewhere here they have listed how to use a CDN, what we call a CDN, to. I have to click this button. Use a CDN so that you don't have to download it necessarily. So This is a group called MaxCDN. CDN is, oh shoot, what's it stand for? Something like Central Distribution Network or something like that. I actually don't remember what it stands for exactly, but N is like oftentimes it's a nonprofit organization, or sometimes it's a big company like Google, who will provide basically just to put like these CSS or JavaScript files on their server for anyone to use. And so this is a way to get Bootstrap, to start using Bootstrap, especially for a simple little project like what we're doing. I know when I build websites at my job, I tend to well, sometimes I'll make use of CDNs, although sometimes I think more often recently I'll use the less source code and have so rather than the CDN, I'll do a bunch of compiling with less. But you can just take this this link from this link element and copy it from here. This is the Get Bootstrap site, and we just from the very front page click to download Bootstrap, and that's right here. And you can put this in the head of your HTML file, just like you would linking any CSS file. And then you may also, I don't know if, well, I think we probably will. I know we've got some pop-ups and that kind of thing, so I'll bet we will at some point want the Bootstrap JavaScript for something or other. So we may go ahead and add the Bootstrap JavaScript to, although we don't need it for today. And so that's how you would get Bootstrap up and running, using a CDN, and that way you don't have to download anything or have the right path to the Bootstrap CSS in a folder or anything like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. I tell you what. Since we're kind of butting up against the end of our time this morning, how about tell you what? I will put my email address in the chat box. Let's do it that way. And if anyone has, so those of you guys that have progress on some of these files, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and send to that email address. Eventually, we'll have source control set up for this project. We just don't as of yet. And we'll make sure we have those available for future webcasts. And we'll build on them, expand on them, and so forth. Thank you guys for helping out this morning and for tuning in.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, Daniel. So, John, I guess so presumably Nina will be back next week. That's the plan.
I'm not sure, Jacob. She's in South Africa.
She's still in South Africa. If she's still in South Africa, that's fine. Now that we've got HTML going, we'll work on we'll work on the style, work on the CSS.
I think it's great, Jacob. I really like the way you, in the very beginning, laid out the architecture and why we're doing this or doing that. This was a very instructive class. Thank you, Jacob.